You know it.
Live.
You know it. What's
We're
going
live,
on, guys?
baby. I had to tell everyone. I had to tell Steve that we're live because otherwise he'll talk about some inappropriate things.
So yeah, what's going on, man? How's the Amazon business? How's life going?
Amazon business going pretty good. Can't speak too much about it, but I have an incognito account that got ungated in some brands today. So I'll just say things are going good there. Amazon might be watching. That's why we got to keep it on the down low. I don't think they are, but I can see them doing some petty stuff like that. Like if they don't like you as an influencer, it makes no sense because we're teaching people how to sell on Amazon. But I'm super paranoid when it comes to that. But things are going good. Put together an order today of like 50 grand. Just got done doing a sourcing trip this weekend. Found a lot of CDs, DVDs, used books. About $500 profit. Went to Atlanta, Georgia. Got a rack put on my car. So made a whole vlog about it. So everyone watching, it's probably going to be one of my best videos ever. Or at least most valuable videos ever. We'll see.
We both hit some jackpots, man. You saw the video that I posted in the group. I surprised my mom. I hit an absolute massive jackpot. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like crazy, but it was like 300 profit at a at my local Savers. Found
you cleaned out. Dude, I feel like a lot of people just aren't scanning CDs and DVDs. Or they just don't understand the data.
I think also they're not taking the time to get ungated. They think that it's such a confusing, complex, equation to solve. And it's like, it's really simple. Go to christianbook.com, buy 10 of a single CD or a DVD, get the invoice, upload it, and you could sell it. But I agree 100%. It's like probably one of the most overlooked areas of a thrift store in terms of flipping on Amazon with media.
Yeah. Like for me, it was DVDs and CDs. While they didn't have the quantity that books had, the quality of stuff I found was a lot better. And after doing online arbitrage 2 years ago, I did a lot of traditional online arbitrage, flipping stuff like grocery items, shoes, a lot of clothing. And after doing book arbitrage, and after seeing you do eBay to Amazon, I have a lot more respect for these Keepa graphs that have like these consistent sales. And so what I'm seeing with a lot of these DVDs is like, I think 6 years ago when I was like traveling the country, living in my car, going into these libraries and thrift stores, I would leave a lot of these DVDs on the shelf for two reasons. Number one, eScore didn't exist back then for them. Now there's an eScore. So let's say something has an eScore 2. Generally that sucks, right? But I'm finding a lot of DVDs that have like 4 used offers, eScore 2, no FBA offers.
Yeah.
And that, I guarantee you, while that sounds bad, if you pick up, like, let's just say 1,000 items like that, I bet your sell-through rate would be 30% a month still.
Yeah.
Because that's what your inventory is doing. Like your inventory and Joji's, I've looked at both y'all's inventory and like your Keepa graphs are just steady, not a lot of off. You guys are being really smart about the inventory you purchase. And so I wish there was some metric on these apps that kind of warned you like, hey, there's not that many used offers and the eScores, like the eScore in relation to used offers, and if there's no FBA, then that's even better. So,
and here's a little tip I wanted to share. If you are scanning with the Amazon seller app, something that gets a lot of people in trouble is just looking at the sales rank. The sales rank doesn't tell you the whole story, but you can download Keepa and you can have the Keepa app on your phone. And what I typically do, especially, and this is a little bit outside of media items, Avery, but if I come across like a tool item or like a product that's in a category I'm not familiar with and the rank, I just can't tell if it's selling a lot. I'll copy the ASIN from Amazon seller app and I'll paste it in Keepa and I'll just open up the graph and look for those green drops.
You open Keepa on Safari?
No, Keepa has an app that you can download onto your phone.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I didn't know that for years as well. It's crazy.
Dude, you know what? I've been using Seller Amp.
Dude.
Because Seller Amp's Keepa is like really clean. Is it pretty easy to use? Like the Keepa app? It's like
super duper easy to use. Like literally I have it on my phone and I don't know if you can see it or not, but you just hit search, paste in the ASIN, pull it up and you can see the graph. I mean, it's not going to give you like every single little detail, like diving. I don't know if you can like see like buy box statistics and all that.
You can do that on Seller Amp. That's what I love about it, but it's all via like a Keepa preview. So they're showing you Keepa.com. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'm trying to find like a video recorded portion of me doing that. And what I've been doing is I just take the whole title. But yeah, the ASIN's better. But see if I can find one real quick.
We got 24 people here live right now. If you guys are here live right now, let us know, say hello. Let us know what part of the country you're in. And this is an open Q&A. We're just kind of, shooting it right now. But if anyone has any questions at all about sourcing, listing, shipping, it could be fees, expenses, anything that's holding you back, ask a question in the comments. That's what we're here for, you guys. We're going to start coming on at least once a week, answering questions and helping you guys out. So
we got Giselle saying, "Hey, new here from Colorado." Who here is new? Put new if you're brand new to selling on Amazon. If you've been around for a while, like Mega Man Wins. Mega Man Wins, remind me, have we met in person? You're popping in every single YouTube video. And if we have, remind me your name. I think maybe I met him at a thrift store a few weeks ago.
Shout out to Mega Man Wins. Yeah, I've been seeing Mega Man popping on the streams all the time. Let us know where you're out of and what are you doing? Are you flipping from thrift stores, E2A? Would love to know.
No, he's from Houston. We haven't met. Bob's new from San Francisco. I'm trying to pull up a preview of what I do with Seller Amp. Let me see if I can find it.
And Seller Amp's a tool that mostly people who do traditional online arbitrage, E2A, A2A, they use it. A lot of thrifters actually don't use Seller Amp just because they're making decisions like out there on the fly. But it does have a beneficial feature as well that Avery's going to get into.
Yeah, I use it all the time for my wholesale business. Like somebody will text me an ASIN, like, "Hey, do you want to buy this?" And I'll just open it up on Seller Amp. Here, I'll show you real quick. I actually, so tell me if the Keepa app's better than this, Steve. And let me make sure I don't have any crazy tabs open.
Are you opening it on your phone?
No, I have a recording from this weekend or from this last week. So here's this book I found. And look at this. I mean, this is just great. Can you see that?
Yep, I can see it.
$55 profit, E-score 30. Like, it just doesn't even look real. Like,
yeah, that's solid.
$74. Like, this is so solid. It's got 2 offers. One's FBA. And the FBA guy's buy boxing at a penny higher. Like, this is just like, it's a and this kind of reminds me of like the items that Joji flips, like, because they have very low used offers. And so I just wanted to look at the Keepa. So this is what I do. I open up my phone and I just paste the ISBN into Seller Amp.
Yep.
Seller Amp's only going to show you new data. So like really it's kind of worthless for booksellers. But if you go to the bottom, it gives you this Keepa preview. And look at this. You can do everything here. And it's super clean. It's super easy to navigate. Like you can zoom in, zoom out really easily. And on Scout IQ, their chart IQ sucks for doing this. But look, I can actually look at the price. It sold for $26 in the past. And I'm all hyped getting a bunch of screenshots of it. But I mean, you can see it sold out a few times. You can see at what price. You can like literally maneuver around here. We could go to data. We could go to buy box statistics, like every single thing you want for a product. There.
That's just as good, if not better. Because I don't know if there's the data tab and whatnot on the on Keepa. Actually, I'm on there right now. I don't know if I can. Yeah, it's a little bit different. So yeah, I mean, either way, but that's a good little trick, guys. If you scan something with the Amazon Seller app and you don't know, because Rank doesn't tell you everything. Rank doesn't tell you when's the last time it's sold or how often it's selling, because the rank's going to differ per the category, per the ASIN. So just pull it up with either Seller Amp or just go to Keepa and look for those green drops. That's every time a sale occurred. Now, a common question I get is, how do I know if it's a new sale or a used sale? You can't really tell. You could look at like the number of new and used offers like on the computer. I don't know if you could actually do that on the phone. You might be able to do that and kind of piece together, was it a new item that sold or a used? But
you can do that on via Seller Amp's Keepa preview. You can do literally everything you're talking about. So there's not as much nuance when you're sourcing CDs and DVDs, but when you're buying like a wholesale product that you're about to spend 10 grand on, you want to make sure the buy box rotation's good. You want to see what are other sellers around your size doing in sales. That's why we look at the offers tab to see their, item quantity count go down over time. You want to look at the number of used offers. But honestly, sometimes like when you're in a used bookstore and there's a $10 book, that's not a small investment. So I'm actually looking at all this data. I'm not really looking at buy box rotation and stuff like that. You know what I do want to know though? Now that I know all this stuff about Keepa, I would like to know, because I come across a lot of books that are like $15 low merchant price, but they're giving the buy box to like a $70 seller. So the buy box is like way higher. what I want to know is like, and I've tried looking this up. So if you click on the offers tab, you can look at every seller that's ever been on there and what price they sold the item at. But the difference with books I've noticed versus wholesale products is there's not like, books only ever have a quantity of one. Most booksellers sell one book, right? Whereas wholesale people have like 100 quantity. So I want to know like, what did the book actually sell for? Like what prime price did it truly sell for? And I wonder if Joji or Victor, maybe you know.
Yeah. So what we all do, what I do, what Joji, what Victor does, and this is what BookMine does as well, their software that they created. So essentially what they're looking at is they're looking at the lowest offer. So they're trying to determine what's the true intrinsic value of this book. They're actually not looking at all these buy box prices for used, even though you might be able to sell it for 50 or 60. If you pull up, well, you don't have to pull it back up again, but on that Keepa chart, there's a black line. That's the lowest offer. So essentially, if the lowest offer, like all throughout the year on average is like 40 to 50, but then you see a spike at 80. If that's like textbook season, then you could look back over the years and be like, okay, maybe I could get it for 80. But if you're in a thrift store or whatnot, and you're really paranoid about what is this really worth, you want to look at that lowest offer, the black bar, and see where that consistently is hovering. And typically, you know, the merchant price could be anywhere from 5 to 10 to 20% higher. Sometimes it could spike, but where people get in trouble, and this is typically with eBay to Amazon flips or Amazon to Amazon flips, and this was the issue with a lot of those softwares, you know, those other softwares out there. And, you know, I loved eFlip. I made a lot of money with it, Zen Arbitrage, but the problem is they were comparing the lowest offer to FBA, and many times FBA is inflated, and many times an inflated buy box will lead to price tanking and or just sitting on it for a long time.
Yeah, agreed. And that's why I'm curious. Let me see if I can find this book. I found this one book. I spent $10 on it. I'll pull it up right now.
Hey, I want to give a shout out while you're looking that up to Caleb DeHart. So Caleb's from Michigan. Caleb actually just picked up a ticket to the Books and Beyond conference. So we're going to be seeing
you Caleb, in Vegas, baby.
Yep, we're going to be seeing Caleb in Las Vegas the 13th to the 15th. And for anyone who's interested, we're hosting a live event in Las Vegas the 13th, 14th, 15th. It's like the second or third link in my description. Get your ticket, guys. We already have with speakers and everything. We just launched it a couple days ago. I think we're up to like 30-something people already. So I'm hoping to get 100, 200 people there. It's going to be pretty sweet.
This is actually a good book. If we got any BookMine users or online arbitrage people, this is a book to look out for, because there's a little price war going on right now. You can see.
Oh, that's nice.
So I was able to pick this up for $10, and you can see it's selling for 61. It's sold for 61 in the past. The price is tanking, but the buy box is really strong. I'm not saying it's gonna sell at this price, but it could. And you can really see Amazon's like really pushing the customer to purchase this. So I think it actually will sell. It could sell at 72. Maybe it might be a 50-50 chance.
But you could see consistently in May, June, there was 1, 2, 3 sales. If you look earlier on in the year, around 50 to 60 bucks.
Amazon used to sell for 40 back in the day. I mean, this is always a good sign. Like all these sellers sold out. You can see it. So book definitely sells. Hasn't sold recently, but what we do in wholesale a lot in online arbitrage, traditional online arbitrage, we go to offers tab. We look at include historical offers. And this is definitely like a book because it's not giving us much data at all. Like we can see Amazon sold 7 copies, but usually with wholesale products, you can see like a waterfall trickle down, or I guess more like a stream, whatever you want to call that, of like the used offer count going down, but it doesn't even show the stock history because everyone's only ever had one. But I'm including historical offers. Now I'm going to filter it by prime. So here's all the people that used to be on the listing. And I'm wondering, like, could we count these as sales, or are we just kind of drawing conclusions here? You know, like 28, 22, 33.
I don't use that a lot just because someone like myself who's selling a lot of items that are only selling between 3 to 15 times a month, there's just not a lot of data there. You don't see that little trickle down and whatnot, but there are some like popular electronics and whatnot that I see. What I typically do is go to, you're on data, click data again, all the way at the top next to offers, and go to buy box statistics. What is this? Go to use buy box statistics.
Yeah.
And then open that up over like 180 days. and I'm looking to see where that buy box has been going. How I look at it
Okay.
for my specific model.
Yeah. It's interesting. It says 38%. Oh, is this guy buy boxing right now? Unless he changed his store name. But this guy, it doesn't say these guys are prime, which is interesting because it's a really high buy box.
But that's why if I was going to buy this thing like E2A or A2A, I would put my selling price at about $50 because that really is like the true intrinsic value of it. Now, could that sell for 60 or 70? Absolutely, especially with there not being, well, actually there's a spike of used offers on it. Look at that bottom tab, how the used offers is going up and up. That's why it's tanking in price as well. And it's probably off season. So if there was a lot less sellers, maybe I would.
But sometimes that happens when like one guy comes on with a bunch of different SKUs. No, but these are a bunch of unique sellers.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. You know, another thing I learned from Victor recently, sometimes the price will really tank down because Amazon warehouse will come on with like 80 copies. Victor put a post out about that. I was like, oh, that's very interesting. So be on the lookout for that. Some sellers might have 40 or 50 copies and you're just asking for trouble in terms of price tanking.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's rapid fire through some of these. We got Dr. Carol Godomsky say, my account's in New Hampshire. Can I ship books from another state if I'm traveling? Absolutely. I just use McDonald's addresses. As long as the zip code matches, you'll pay for shipping. And honestly, Amazon will adjust for, or UPS will adjust for shipping regardless. But I just changed my address, like maybe the Airbnb address or a UPS address or McDonald's address. Went to a library sale last week, was only scanning books, filled my car. Heck yeah. Good job. Giselle or Giselle, however you say your name. Hey guys, Alabama books trying to get in a disc of media. Scott IQ is always gray. Could you show how it looks when scanning DVDs and CDs? I'm ungated, by the way. Funny you asked that because I actually can show you. Usually I wouldn't be able to, but let me pull up a quick video here. So this is what it looks like when you scan DVDs. I'm at McKay's used bookstore here, and I'm just blazing through this section. And as you can see, I don't have my triggers turned on for DVDs here. It's pretty gray, but I'm just eyeballing profit, and I'm looking for any profit that's over like $1. And the reason why is it's compared to the low merchant price. So if it's $1 profit, the buy box could be significantly higher, meaning that there's margin there. So I just eyeball this, and then whenever I see dollar profit, you know, it's really nice seeing this E-score here too. So if the profit's $1 and the E-score is above 0, I'll oftentimes hop in here and then I'll see what the buy box is going for. You can set triggers too. Honestly, I've just been lazy. With CDs, I have triggers on. So with CDs, they do turn green and red. And all you have to do to adjust your triggers is click on trigger at the bottom. And you can easily adjust triggers from your phone now. So it's really easy to do that. We got someone from Niagara Falls. I might go to Niagara Falls for Taylor's wedding this summer.
I'll be there. I just got the invitation in the mail too. I just put it on my fridge.
Nice. I need to check my mailbox. Hey, I gotta get my wrestling pay. I think they paid me like $3,000 this year for coaching. So I gotta go get that somewhere in my mailbox. How to sell books in new condition. You just list them as new. What's your philosophy on that? Because it's interesting for you. Don't be a hypocrite here because you're selling stuff new from eBay to Amazon. So do you think it's okay to sell books as new?
Yeah, I think the issue is with new, in my opinion, it just seems like the publishers and Amazon is a lot more strict with that. I sell 99.9% new, all other categories. I mean, in 2022, I sold 5,000 new DVDs. And I still sell them, but I sell a lot of other categories now, but they're not as strict. A lot of like electronics and tools, like Amazon's expecting you to sell that as new. With books, it just seems like, I don't know the exact reason, but with the lawsuits and whatnot going around, I mean,
you know what though? Every single case I've heard of has been a used book.
Oh, interesting.
I've never, maybe one time I've heard of a new book, but not many people sell as new as well. But do this at your own risk, guys. But I know huge sellers who are selling books as new.
And you know what? There's like a group of guys who hit my thrift stores up. They make their rounds and they buy everything and I know what they're doing. They're buying all the fiction, nonfiction, and they're selling it as new. Another thing too, you have to worry about, especially if you have a newer account. And I'm curious what your thoughts are. The newer your account, the more Amazon's looking at you. Like if you start selling a crap ton of new books and you're a brand new seller, you don't have a lot of history, you haven't been selling for like 8, 9, 10 years like me. I feel like, because I had a coaching call with someone who did that, a husband and wife, they made a couple mistakes. They were buying a ton of books and selling them as new, and they both had accounts at the same household selling them. So Amazon connected the accounts, and they were saying, we want to see invoices to prove that it's new. And they were selling like a bunch of fiction and stuff. And I think it's dangerous.
Yeah, I agree it's dangerous, but I also think selling used books is dangerous too. And this year we're going to be releasing a ton of information on how to protect yourself around this, because we're actually kind of figuring out the equation for basically, like, there's 2 different complaints you got to worry about: brand complaints for books or CDs or DVDs or any category for that matter, and then customer complaints. Customer complaints are scary. Because
I've never had one. What's a customer? Like, I know what it sounds like, but what are they complaining about? Like it being sold as new, but it's really used?
Dude, you know what's crazy? David Chung's account was shut down. Massive bookseller, from a customer counterfeit claim.
That's
We all
wild.
know
I don't
Dave's
even know if it's real.
David is like very public with his store. So the scary thing is this: if you know David from social media, you could go and you could purchase from his store and say it's counterfeit. And then Amazon might just automatically deactivate. How screwed up is that? You're not even the brand, you're just some random customer. But the good news is he got his account back, and he learned a lot in the process. And like I said, we're going to be releasing a lot more information about this. I'm probably going to shoot a really in-depth video. I've been talking with David a lot, but it seems like Amazon wants you to upload an invoice that has the ASIN on it, and there's a trail via, forget how to explain it, but the safest way to do it is like your credit card statement matches the invoice. And then you can also have, like, he was explaining it as like a trail. So there's like some email connected to the invoice. Like he requested the thrift store to send him an invoice for that exact ASIN. And the thrift store actually modified the invoice to include the ASIN that was a customer counterfeit claim. And then he included not only the invoice, but also the email to the thrift store. And that got his account back. So Amazon really likes to see like a trail of that you're giving a shit about getting authentic material.
Yeah.
You know, and so he literally just reached out to Goodwill and was like, hey, can you include this ASIN on this bulk order I did? And they did it. So he didn't modify the invoice himself. He actually asked the store, hey, can you add this? And it worked. So if your account ever gets shut down, don't freak out. Like, it happens. I probably get 5 people a month reaching out to me, and they'll get their accounts back as long as they just give Amazon what is required.
And communicate with them and show an effort and create a plan of action and work with them. Don't ignore the messages and give them 1-word responses. They want to see that you're trying, you know?
100%. But we got to talk more about this behind the scenes, but David's got some really good information. He's actually coming out with a guide, and he's actually willing to work. For now, he's willing to work with sellers. So I'm like putting him in group chats, because people message me every month, because I'm the account shutdown specialist apparently, because I've been through 6. So people are always messaging me about it. And yeah, we'll have some really good information to help you guys out as the year goes on. Hi, I'm from Michigan. What up, Caleb? What up, David from Western Colorado, Niagara Falls in the house. Whitney from Texas, or she's saying thanks.
Probably I got Texas. A question I'd like to answer from Kirby D.
Yep.
Kirby's asking, what does it mean when you've sent in a shipment to Amazon and one book is saying available, but saying other? I'm not sure what that means. I thought the question was saying, like, why do you ship things in and it's not active? Because what happens is when you send things to Amazon, sometimes they bounce around to different fulfillment centers. So it takes time. Like, I saw another question in our Facebook group today asking, like, why does it take a week or 2 or 3 weeks to check in? I mean, that's just the way it is on Amazon. Sometimes things check in a couple days. Other times it can take weeks, but you want to go into your actual shipment and say you sent in 30 items. You want to see 30 out of 30, that 30 were accepted and checked in. But
I don't know where you're seeing this question, but to me, it sounds like, what does it mean when you send a shipment and one book is saying available, but saying other, and one book is not saying available?
Or
it could just be in reserve, you think? Like, so if you ship something to Amazon, it's inbound. Amazon will actually give prime sellers the buy box. So let's say I pack up a shipment today. I drop it off at UPS. There's a chance that I could actually sell that today. Did you know that?
Yeah, they do that for certain ASINs and products sometimes.
Yeah. So be sure you actually ship your stuff, is the moral of that story. But your item can be in reserve on the way to Amazon, or maybe it's in a facility center transfer, maybe it's being checked in and you can still sell it, but it won't really say, I don't know if it says active. It must say active on Amazon, but let us know if that answered your question, Kirby. Caleb says, best information I found in 2 years of Amazon selling in this group. Heck yeah. Reselling freedom. What are we talking about here?
Let's go.
Can we buy the conference to watch online? Steve's thinking about it, but for now, it's just in person.
We're gonna have someone there filming it, so we will sell the replays. We were thinking about live streaming it, but it's just, this is our first time doing this conference, so we really want to make sure we do a good job and we're not there, sitting there freaking out about like if the live stream goes out or if the internet at the hotel isn't very good. So
yeah,
honestly, I would say with most conferences, 80% of the value you're going to get is just hanging out with people, networking. I mean, speakers, I think presentations are great, but there's only so much you're going to learn in a presentation. Yep. It's more of the chit chat and the relationships that you're forming and the conversations behind the scenes, because a lot of sellers aren't going to tell you much on the internet. I mean, you could get some good information, but when you meet someone and you stare them in their eye and ask a question, you're going to get a better answer.
100%. You'll build relationships too. You'll share products. You'll build friendships. You'll break limiting beliefs by seeing people in person, doing way more in sales than you thought possible. Like, there's a ton of benefits to being in person. To answer tattoos and blue art question, I use the Rollo printer.
Yep.
You can adjust this to use shipping labels, which you can get for free from UPS. And I recommend the 30334 labels for the F and SKU. These are way cheaper than if you use a Dymo. So Dymos are actually cheaper, I think, than the Rollo, or they have been in the past. But the problem is they charge out the ass for Dymo branded labels, and they only are compatible with Dymo branded labels. So over a long period of time, you're actually going to be spending more if you go the Dymo route. Even if you use a traditional, like a regular printer, you're going to be spending so much on ink. The Rollo, I think, over time is going to be your cheapest option, even though it's not the cheapest up front.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I used a Dymo for years, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. When a Dymo works well, it works well. But when a Dymo stops working and stops printing and you're trying to figure it out or configure it with a software, I mean, I remember it's a nightmare. Like, ever since I switched to the Rollo, and it's not like they're paying me to say this, I've never had any issues with the Rollo, but the Dymo, man, when that thing stops working, it's a freaking nightmare.
And Dymo is really trying to push users to buy their labels. That's a big part of their business, is for you to buy labels from them. Whereas Rollo, you can use generic labels with, which are way cheaper. So I think that's like the main reason to use Rollo. So like any hardware that's going to make it more difficult for me, they program the software to not be compatible with certain labels. Like, I don't want anything to do with that.
Hey,
do you guys know any other sellers who have been FBA from Canada with success? I know a ton. Vishal Muti, who's actually speaking at Books and Beyond.
Yeah.
He does 1.6 million profit a year. All used books. Booksandbeyondcon.com. I'll pull it up real quick. Give you a little preview. And what's that other guy's name? Patty's World?
Patty's World?
Patty's World FBA. You don't know him?
No, I don't.
He's in Canada as well. Kate's in Canada, the event manager for Miami Sellers Conference. Who else is in Canada? David Campbell, who might be watching this right now. A lot of successful Canadian sellers. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. This is these are all the speakers for booksandbeyondcon.com. You guys can go to booksandbeyondcon.com, get your tickets at the cheapest price possible. The price is going up at the end of May. But Vishal here, he'll be doing 10 million a year by the time of the con. He's probably already doing 10 million a year, but at Miami Sellers Conference, when he spoke, he was doing 9 million a year at about 1.6 million net profit or gross profit, either one. Either way, it's impressive. And he's out of Canada, so go check it out.
Hey, there was a question that came in. Maybe you could put it on the screen. It was from Ronnie Swope. saying, I got a ton of returns and a ton of bootleg DVDs. So I kind of stick with books and games and tools now. And I want to touch on that really quick because I've sold thousands and thousands of DVDs. Here's the thing with DVDs. You want to stay away from DVDs that are less than 10,000 rank. They're too popular. A lot of times they're going to be the complete series DVDs. There's a lot of bootlegs on the market, and the good news is most of them look really, really fake, but I don't touch a DVD for the most part, especially if it's like a complete series and it's under 10,000 rank. And if it has any type of issues where it just looks a little weird, the color's off, the pixelation, sometimes the material's really cheap, I don't mess with it. My sweet spot is like 30 to 100,000 rank with DVDs. So you've got to be careful with DVDs. There's a lot of fakes, especially if you're going to buy from eBay to Amazon. That's like my number one rule.
Nice. We got someone from Atlanta. I have a YouTube video coming out about me cherry picking in Atlanta, so that'll be out soon. Cody's also down in Atlanta. If you want to hit up Coty, Coty, forget his last name, but he's on Instagram. He's a bookseller down there. Just ask around in the Facebook groups if you're in Reselling Freedom or Steve's Facebook groups or Feed the Beast Challenge. Find people, network with them. And regarding restricted inventory, just go to restrictedinventory.com and see if you can print the label there. If not, just email my team at info@restrictedinventory.com. They require an invoice, but for older products, sometimes it's not even possible. Let's see. If I skipped your question, just ask it again. I was permanently banned from selling on eBay 15 years ago. I was scammed and they banned me. What would you do? I would sell on Amazon.
Until you get banned there as well, and then you're really screwed. Then you're on Mercari and Etsy.
I was banned on eBay for selling a knife sharpener that had honey all over it. One of the first products I ever sold online for $5 when I was like probably 18 years old, and they banned my eBay account, but they gave it back to me years later. You know anything about eBay suspensions and getting your account back? Are they as strict as Amazon?
I mean, I haven't been selling much on eBay for the last couple of years, so I don't really have any like good up to date. I mean, I could give you some default advice, try to contact them, talk to them. You could try opening another account, but they're going to link your IP address. So yeah, I don't really have the answer to that.
We got a question from Legends about the UK market. They want to sell in the UK market. I'm sure there's a lot of profit to be made there. Keepa exists there. I don't know what app is dominating over there, but what I personally recommend is sell on .com. So use your passport to create a .com account on Seller Central, and then that way you capture the biggest marketplace, the biggest online marketplace in the world, which is Amazon.com, and you can use a prep center and do all that from overseas. But I'm sure there's a ton of opportunity in UK. Like, I'm not discounting that at all.
There is a lot. I'll tell you right now. I don't want to say too much right now, but for software, sourcing softwares, even listing softwares, man, go to Lister. When are you going to get on UK? There's a lot of folks in the UK, man.
Maybe Canada first, probably. But
yeah,
I don't know how difficult that is. We just have so many things we're working on.
I know people don't understand how much.
But last year, Dom was like, "Oh, it'd be so easy to go in Canada," but I just feel like it won't be. I don't know. Scout IQ never did it, and
you remember they always said they were going to, and they never did. So there must have been a reason.
It just makes me think it's harder. But maybe it's as easy as like a few button clicks. Probably not.
Well, the thing is, you have to match up all the data. The data is completely different. Everything's different.
Yeah. I'm sure if he had it in mind when he coded the software to be compatible with UK and Canada, maybe he would have coded it differently, but who knows? I emailed already, again, for restricted inventory issue. That's like pay later, and there's a fee up front. Oh yeah, just email us. We can create the label and front you the shipping. It's something we do. Shout out to Money Badger. I tried calling you the other day. I tried calling you the other day, William, because I was headed down to Atlanta and I wanted to know the best places to go to. But
give Money Badger a follow. I know he's big on TikTok. Is he on YouTube?
He's got a little YouTube channel. Yeah, if you type in William Shirley, the Money Badger, he'll pop up. He got shut down for an inauthentic PS3 controller. Got my account back, but it was very tough. You can always get your account back. The fact that people upload what's the word for it? Invoices that are like, what's it called when you change an invoice? Do you know the term for it? Anyway, like people are messing with their invoices. Amazon's catching them and suspending them, and they're getting their accounts back. In my opinion, that's like one of the worst things you can do. And if they can get their account back, you can too.
Yeah.
People, Druggernaut says people will sometimes repackage video games and sell as new. I have no clue how these guys keep their accounts so long. I've seen a guy with 60% feedback on there for years. If you got 60% feedback, you're not doing it right. Like I know people who are doing hundreds of thousands a month selling items as new that came from a used source, but they're really vetting the items. So they're only selling stuff that is in new condition, and obviously this guy's doing something wrong because his feedback's 60%. He's not doing it right. But again, play your own risk. Mega Man saying he was saying something about Texas. Let's see what else we got here. What else we got? Let's see.
I see a question.
Yep.
If you get a used book that looks practically brand new, will you sell it as used? I will.
Yeah. And I do too. And the reason why is it's just easier for my team to process it that way, but again, play at your own risk.
Yeah. I've just seen people get in trouble for that.
Yep.
I know people who do it, but again, it depends. Like, I'm making a full-time income doing this. I'm not going to risk my account for, an extra 10, 15 bucks profit.
That's stupid. It's stupid. How are you going to get it for CDs and DVDs? Go to christianbook.com, buy 10 units of the cheapest CD you can find, buy 10 units of the cheapest DVD you can find. Make sure the receipt matches your address on file, your business name, even if it's your name, whatever the legal entity on your Amazon account is, and you'll get ungated super quickly. Why would you never refresh your Amazon seller account and show us the numbers you claim? Yeah, you fake guru.
I don't even think my honest truth about Avery is I don't even think you've ever sold an item on Amazon.
Oh, that's from my channel. So this guy's talking about me, not you.
Oh man. All right. I'll pull up my numbers right now. You know what the thing is? This is the good thing about going to a live event. This is how you know if someone's fake or not. Just ask them if they're a YouTuber and they say they sell on Amazon and make money. Just say, hey, refresh your Amazon. You don't have to show your store name, but just show the orange bars on the phone. You can't hide that in real life.
Yeah, let me see. I do use Seller Central, but I don't like to. I usually use GoToLister. I'm so paranoid now after my account shutdowns last year. You guys can go check out my YouTube
Honestly,
channel.
if you're a public figure showing off your Amazon store, I think you're an idiot, to be honest, because you could just have a hater buy one book, say it's counterfeit, and you're toast.
Yep, exactly. So here are my sales last 30 days. This is almost all wholesale. 5,000 sale yesterday, 5,000 in sales yesterday, 3,000, 3,000, 2,000, 2,000. But yeah, those are my sales right there. I could pull up Steve's account too, but he get nervous.
I can show you on my phone right now. Last 12 months. Let me see if I can pull it up right here. Yeah.
Was there ever a time in the beginning that you didn't sell anything? Of course. Look at Steve now doing, how much is it? 700, 600?
I'm trying to see. I think it's 694, but I'm at 20, almost 3,000 in sales for the day today. And that's not to show off, but it's like, if you're going to be on YouTube, it's like, I think from time to time, you should show people what you're making so they know you're not full of baloney,
And your margin after paying your team and after considering buy cost, what's your margin?
25% right now.
25% after paying your team?
I've raised my ROI. My ROI before I've raised my ROI 15% so far in 2024. So I'm very picky. Matter of fact, I'm selling, and I said this on the last call, so far for this year, my sales are up 25%, but my actual units sold is down 54%. I'm down 54% this year compared to last year in terms of units sold, but I'm up 25% in sales. So I'm very, very picky about the items I go after, and I've essentially doubled my ASP.
We got a question asking from the same guy. All Truth is asking, what's the fastest way to list your products? I'll show you right now.
Attention Amazon FBA booksellers. I used to hate listing books on Amazon because of how long it took, but GoToLister has fixed that. GoToLister allows me to scan, label, and ship 100 plus books per hour. It's the fastest listing software that exists for Amazon sellers. Listing fast allows me to spend more time finding profitable inventory rather than listing all day. One of the best things about GoToLister is our intelligent pricing feature that automatically prices your faster selling items at higher prices. Click the link below to give GoToLister a free trial for 14 days.
Go check
Dude,
it out.
that's a badass commercial, man.
Yeah.
When did you get that made?
I got that made for Facebook ads a while back.
Wow.
And then we ran a campaign and it wasn't profitable. I forgot I had it. But real quick, if you guys actually want to see how fast it is, I do have a video. Let's see if I think this one is
The number one thing I love about it.
Nope, that's not it.
The reason I love the new GoToLister.com is because I can scan faster than I ever have been able to on any other listing app. Watch how quickly I can scan over 35 books.
I'm not going to make you guys watch all 35 books, but you guys saw how fast she was scanning each one. And what GoToLister does is it queues in your scans. So you can scan 5, label 5, scan 5, label 5. Amazon will sometimes take 1 to 10 seconds to return the response. And, you know, if you have a few hundred books that you're listing, that can actually double your amount of time listing. You know, 2 seconds, 3 seconds doesn't sound like a long time, but if you have to scan, wait for Amazon to print it, you might as well just scan 5 and GoToLister, queue them all in, label the last 5 that you scanned in. It's a pretty good workflow. So
you're going to make your money being at the thrift store, going to the library sales, building relationships, sourcing more. That's where you want to be spending your time. You don't want to be spending your time spending 5 to 10 hours every other day listing all the books. Like, you want to list them fast. Like,
yeah, listing's like a $12 to $20 an hour job. You can literally pay someone to do it, but sourcing is a $200 plus per hour job. If you go out and you find 300 DVDs, $300 in profit in DVDs, like Steve did the other day, like, that's where the money's made. You got to be a good sourcer when it comes to listing. Yeah, pricing your items intelligently is important, having a good workflow, but get that shit done as quickly as possible. Jimmy's saying you sold 3K today.
almost.
I love that everyone thinks Amazon's all scams and gurus. I hope they keep thinking that. I have no idea how great it is. I completely understand why people would think it's a scam. I thought it was.
There's a lot of BS you have to deal with, especially nowadays. I'll say this: if you're going to sell on Amazon, you've got to have a tough personality, because if you just fold under pressure or you get punched in the face with the one issue, you're going to quit. Like, there's a lot you have to learn. But the good news is, like, if you're willing to learn all the nuances and get through all the BS that Amazon, you know, puts you through, there's a lot of money to be made. There seriously is. There's a lot of money to be made. But most people nowadays, it's the world we live in now, Avery. If everything doesn't go perfect, if the stars aren't aligned, if there's any issues, oh, scam, I quit, can't make any money with it. It's like, it's a tough business, but it's rewarding and it gets easier.
Yeah, I mean, I always like to look at, like, why is someone trying to sell this opportunity to me? Like, I remember years ago, I was in my college dorm room and I knew textbooks were expensive. So I was selling my textbooks on Amazon rather than selling them back to the bookstore for $10. And I kept coming across a Reezy Resells video, and he was like so adamant about Amazon FBA. And I'm like, why is this guy trying to sell me? If this is such a good opportunity, why wouldn't he just do it himself? You know, that's what I was thinking. And, like, it honestly kind of turned me off. But then I was like, well, FBA sounds like a good idea. So I shipped all my books FBA, so I didn't have to leave class and go ship books in between. And fast forward 6 years or even more now, like a decade, I know why he was doing that. He wanted to get views on YouTube, but the only way he was going to get views on YouTube is if he said good stuff. So he wanted to say stuff that was true, which Amazon FBA is a good opportunity, which it is. He wanted to teach it in a way that would make people want to come back and watch his YouTube channel again. He didn't have a course at the time. Now he does. So now, like, you got to understand why people are doing what they're doing. Like, I'm teaching you guys Amazon because of those same reasons. I have a software I'm selling. Like there's obviously reasons why we're doing this, but at the end of the day, like, me and Steve aren't going to be around very long if this wasn't truly a good opportunity, because what we're teaching would have been BS and nobody the videos might pop for like a month, but then once everyone finds out it didn't work, we'd be gone, So anyway.
Yeah.
Brian says, this is my second year doing Amazon. I'm at 22,000 for the year so far. Last year I did 32,000 total for the whole year. How can I start making more than 5,000 to 7,000 a month? I want to start making 20K a month. Do you want to start making 20K profit or sales? I'll answer your question for sales. Well, currently you did 22,000 sales for the year. So you just have to do what you did for this year every month. So everything you did this year.
He's doing E2A as well.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Spend more. Spend more, assuming your average sales price is good, assuming your items are selling at profitable prices, assuming you're selling through the majority of your inventory every 2 months. Ramp it up. What are you waiting for?
And get picky about what you're picking up. Really become a master of how to use Keepa and analyzing deals and figuring out what's the true intrinsic value of a product. And I'll say this, Brian, if you're like, well, hey, that's easy, spend more, I don't have the money, then what I would do is I would be doubling down on merchant fulfilling. I'd be merchant fulfilling eBay to Amazon. There's people right now, and no one's talking about it. They are killing it with eBay to Amazon merchant fulfilled. The reason nobody talks about it is because it's a little secret, but also it's a lot of work. But you'll get your cash flow back way faster. There's way less liability as well. FBA versus MF, and a ton of products sell merchant fulfilled. I would personally do it if I didn't have so many things going on. But for me, I don't want to be sitting there packing orders every day.
Yeah. Here's another pro tip. You get a prep center to do it for you. Find a prep center that'll do MF for you. Ronnie says, hey guys, I'm selling about 250 to 300 items a month, mostly eBay to Amazon, all FBM. Nice. You listen to what you said. My biggest issue is rolling my money over fast enough because Amazon holds my money in reserve. Sounds like your account's really new. That is not going to happen forever. The reserve issue only happens when you scale quickly, which you are. But I mean, that won't be an issue in a few months unless you keep scaling really fast. Then it might be. But over time, like, when's the last time Amazon held your money on reserve, Steve?
A while ago. Years.
Yeah, exactly. So if you get ungated in DVD, do you get ungated in the brands like Universal Studio, Fox, Paramount, Lionsgate, or do you have to get ungated in these brands? Here's a pro tip. If you know a brand you want to get ungated in, you can go ahead and kill two birds with one stone. Buy 10 DVDs of the brand that you want to sell a lot of, and you'll get ungated in the DVD category. But what's your answer to that, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get ungated in the DVD category, but certain ones, like Paramount possibly, are going to also cause you to get, you're going to have to get ungated for that one. So it's kind of a learning experience. The first thing I would do is just get the cheapest DVD you possibly could. You can find them on Christian books sometimes for like a couple bucks each. Spend $20, get ungated. And then if you constantly see like opportunities coming up all the time that you can't sell, then go in and spend some extra money.
Yeah. And as you sell more, Amazon's going to trust you more and they'll auto ungate you. Like this morning or yesterday, I found out this morning, but my account was ungated in two major brands that I've been trying to get ungated for months. And it's because the account finally has sales history. We didn't even put in a request for approval. It just happened. So I would be weary. Like, I don't think anyone's doing this, but I don't want new booksellers going out and buying a bunch of Marvel, DC Comics, American Girl, Universal. Like, they're going to be spending hundreds of dollars to get ungated. Like, don't do that. Just sell what you can. And then all those brands most likely will probably get auto ungated. Actually, DC and Marvel are two brands you do need to get ungated for. But a lot of these other small brands you see, come back in a week or two after you have some sales and maybe you're going to be auto ungated. What up, Checkmate Flips? Checkmate Flips is doing, last I talked to him, 17,000 profit.
Dude, he's putting me to shame with E2A, man. I just had a phone call with him the other day. Actually, was it yesterday, I think, Seth, or the day before? Man, this guy's up to some ninja stuff. I mean, he is unbelievable, man. So impressed by him. We should he's on the speaker.
Yeah, where's he at?
I think he's on there somewhere. Yeah, there he is.
I kept showing the screen before you finished the funnel, and it was like something about like him working out.
Because we modeled a sales page, and then I had to like change out all the text.
I know it was funny, but here's Seth right here. He'll be speaking at Books and Beyond in Vegas, going down September 13th, 14th, and 15th. We will be seeing all you guys in person. The tickets are extremely cheap right now. They're probably going to go up double in price by the time the event starts. You can get tickets for how much right now?
So general's $297, but we have 75 tickets available for the middle one, which
This
is
is the one you want, at
yeah.
least.
Trust
Maybe,
me, we have
yeah.
a sick after party. We rented a 5,000 square foot penthouse. It's the MTV Real World penthouse. Like that was on TV and everything. It is insane. So, like literally, guys, like we're literally charging what it's going to cost us. Like we're
Yeah.
catering it, drinks, everything. It's going to be nuts.
If you guys were at Miami Sellers Conference, you know how that was. And we charged $1,500 for that weekend. So this is a third of the price. And this is including, everything. Like the cheapest ticket I think we did for Miami Sellers Conference was $400. But in order to get everything included with this ticket, you had to pay an additional like $1,000 or $800.
This is ending at the end of May. So just so you know, if anyone's watching this at a later date, May 31st, these prices are going up. I think the general is going to go up to $397. The after party, that's going to go up another. They're all going to go up like $100 or $200, and that's going to be the second price hike. So like literally, and I sent out an email earlier. You might be asking like, well, why are we doing it so cheap for this? Because we're trying to reward our loyal followers. Like only the loyal I can't even say that word because I Nikki, but we're trying to reward the our audience who follow us closely, because who else is going to purchase a ticket that's 4 or 5 months out other than our loyal followers? So we want to reward them.
And how many ticket sales do we have? We like 15 or 20 already.
Yeah, so with speakers and everything right now, I think we have like 35 people going so far already. So I mean, we're going to have 100, 200 people. We have to have 100, 200 people there. My goal is to just be 1% better than Miami Seller Conference.
Hey, me too. Too. It should be, because the problem with throwing conferences, unlike other things, is like you only get to do it once a year. So you only get that feedback loop once a year. Like after Miami Sellers Conference, the first year, we're like, oh, people didn't like this about the after party. So then the whole next year we have to try and do it better. And then we have to wait a whole nother year to do it better. But this is coming right after my Miami Sellers Conference. We've modeled the event down to the T, from the speakers to the panels to the after party. All this is like fine tuned. And so I hope it better be better.
Yeah, man, it's great. But back to Seth, Checkmate Flips. Wasn't he a student of ours in Book Business Blueprint, like in like 2019, 2020-ish, 2020? Yeah. He's come so far, man.
So Flips for Miles put us all in a group chat, and then we all went out to Denver for a trip. And I remember Seth picked me up at the airport. I didn't know who he was. And he was like, yeah, I bought your course, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, cool. And I'm like, wow, like people are actually out there doing what I say. And then fast forward a couple of years, like this kid's crushing it, like damn near 20K profit months. I'm sure he's done like a 20, 30K profit. I think he did 30K profit one Q4. I might be making that up, but he's been up there for sure. And all media, all used books, media, eBay to Amazon. He was doing eBay to Amazon before Steve was really talking about it. So
I learned a lot from him. He gave me the confidence, honestly, him and our buddy Josiah, to really scale, because in our community, it's funny, in our community, there's a lot of people who like to say things and they have no idea what they're talking about. They'll literally just scare you to death, and they're just scaring you for like literally no reason. And I talk to these guys and I'm like, holy crap, I'm playing so small. And yeah, I just got to, publicly say thanks to Seth. He really helped me out a lot. So
we had 200 people come to Miami Sellers Conference. What types of books don't sell? Books with multiple million ranks. Even those books sell, but I mean, every book category sells. What books sell profitably? Generally, like mass market fiction books don't sell profitably, but you'll find several of those above $10. That's all you need to get a profitable book. So just look at the data. We're buying data. We're not buying books. We're buying, high E-scores, or if they have a low E-score, it must have high profit. We're buying profit and sales history. That's all.
Matter of fact, the books that you think are the best, like because you know them, like Twilight or something like that, those are typically the worst. It's the odd, unique, obscure, rare, weird topics, like just like very odd subject matter. Those make you a lot of money because there's not a lot of them in circulation anymore, or they're rare. And there's like, here's the thing. Maybe it's a really weird book that only 3 people in the whole country want this year. But guess what? If there's only one available, they're going to pay what they're going to pay. They want it.
Exactly. Man, I like to come out and meet you guys in Vegas, trying to talk to my wife into it. My nephew is getting married that weekend. I told her that it's his fault, not mine. Yeah, my high school 10-year reunions that weekend. So I'm not going to that for Books and Beyond. Checkmate Flip said, looking forward to meet everyone. All Truth says Mega Man wins. That book's not worth it. It has no sales history. Yeah, that's what he was commenting, was this book. Let's see if I can you read Swedes in Texas in words and pictures? Let me see if I can find this. In words and pictures, 1838 to 1918. See if we can find this real quick. I'm assuming it's this first one. I'm just going to assume it's this one. Let me know in the chat if this is it.
They said it was like an 8 million ranked book, which if it is, you're going to see something like that. But that doesn't look.
This is 800,000. It sold out recently, or nobody was on it. It did sell years ago, but there's not really a sales price here for some reason. I mean, this book could have demand. It's listed at $4.95.
I would merchant fulfill that. I would not send that into FBA.
Yeah, something's funky going on. But look, if there was a sale, because it went from 11,000 to 8,000. Keepa is kind of glitching out here. Oh, 8 million. Yeah,
that's high.
What could have happened? I don't know. I need a.
That doesn't look like it sold. Honestly, something's off. I mean, they could have just pulled their inventory or something. Those are the types of books we don't typically buy. If you're a seasoned veteran, you've been doing it for a while and you're merchant fulfilling, you can play around with things like that, but we don't buy books like that for the most part.
Yeah, I would go to eBay and look at the sold listings here, see if anything pops up. So what you do for items like this is just go to eBay, type it in, look at sold. Sold for $249. March 13th.
Wow.
Yeah, so
interesting. Merchant
I would look
fulfilled
for around $249 on eBay and Amazon and just see which one gets the sale.
Here's the thing. If you pick up 50 really, I'm going to call them ugly books like that don't have a lot of data, but maybe they're selling for $200 to $400, but they may never sell. Say you spend $1 on each one, you get 50 books. If you just sell one out of those 50, you're already in the green. So there's nothing wrong with having a bookshelf merchant fulfilled at your house with books that are unlikely to sell. But if they do, it pays your car insurance.
Yeah, exactly. Raken, would you still send it to a prep center if you're sourcing items, mainly electronics? That's just what you do, right?
I don't sell used, but I have a friend. We were actually just talking. Shout out to Chrislyn. I think she's up to 10 or 12,000 a month right now. And she just put a post in our eBay to Amazon masterclass group saying, hey, if you're going to be using a prep center with electronics, used tools, things like that, you got to be careful. Your return rate is going to be super duper high. You really have to have a prep center who's going to take the time to really clean it up, assess it, make sure all the pieces are there. I think for the average person, and I would say for probably almost for anybody who's going to sell E2A, I think it's a very dangerous move to be selling used electronics with a prep center, unless you really, really know and trust them and give them instructions. Yeah. You're going to have a super high return rate.
Yeah. What's the difference between your price versus the list price? The list price was created by whoever created the listing, I think, right? They put in like the list price. And so it's kind of arbitrary, but it's like what the book should sell for. The market value of the book is whatever the book's currently selling for. But like, I guess what it should sell for, like in a bookstore, is the list price. Your price is what you have it priced at. All right, y'all. I think that's a wrap for today's Monday session. We got to come up with a name for this.
Dude, I've been having fun with this, man, just answering questions. I think one thing we might want to do as well is maybe even in our groups and stuff, say, hey, we're going to be going live, ask some questions so we can have like a whole set of questions where we could kind of keep the flow going so we don't bore people. I feel like
they brought the questions today. So
yeah, they did bring questions today. Let us know. Give us some feedback, guys. Are you finding any value in us just coming on, answering some questions, hanging out? Because yeah, we're planning on doing this maybe once a week, nothing too over the top, but just hanging out, answering questions. I mean, I remember when I was new, it was very helpful to be able to bounce questions off of folks who knew more than me. We don't know everything, but if we don't know it, we'll find the answer.
Romer been on YouTube forever. Steve's been on twice as long as I have.
Long time. I remember when I started YouTube, I had no money in the bank, but I was so excited sharing my journey, and it was fun. And, to everyone out there, if you're new, one step at a time. You got to learn to crawl, then walk, and then jog, and then run. And here's
It's so funny. Like
Yeah.
how broke I was when I started my YouTube channel and how little I was concerned about money. But now that I have more money flowing in, I find myself like being like, oh, like thinking about money like in an anxious way. And I'm like, how was I not just anxious as fuck? Living in a Walmart parking lot 6 years ago, sourcing books at Goodwill, like I wasn't anxious at all. Slept like a baby. It's like
journey,
yeah.
I was just so blessed to find the opportunity. I was so sick and freaking tired of working at pizzerias, Cracker Barrel. I mean, I was just so fed up that for me, it was a blessing to be able to make money without a boss.
Yeah.
The business ain't perfect, Avery. You know that, right? But you do have your freedom. You can make as much money, quote unquote, obviously, depending on your situation, how much money you have to invest, but you can literally you control your destiny with this business. Yeah. So that's what I like most about it. Some days are good. Some days are bad.
100%. All right, y'all. See you next week.
All right, guys. Take care.